A single message on social media can do more damage to a pensioner's plans than any actual policy change ever could. Right now, claims are circulating about new ATM rules taking effect before Monday, and while some real changes to cash access genuinely are happening across Australia, much of what's spreading online isn't accurate. So let's separate what's actually real from what's simply designed to grab your attention. Picture this. It's pension day. You've planned your morning around it, a walk to the ATM, a quick withdrawal, then on with your errands. It's a routine you've had for years. Now imagine seeing a post claiming that from Monday, withdrawal limits are being slashed, fees are skyrocketing, or that your usual ATM won't let you take out cash the way it used to. Your stomach drops a little. You wonder if you should rush out today, just in case. That reaction is exactly what these viral claims are built to create. And it's worth understanding why, because once you see the pattern, it stops having power over you. Here's the first thing most people don't realize. Banks and ATM providers do make changes to cash access rules regularly. That part is true. Fee structures shift, some physical branches close, some ATM networks adjust withdrawal limits for security reasons, and cash handling policies get reviewed from time to time. These changes are real, and they do matter. But they almost never arrive as a single, dramatic, nationwide switch that flips overnight on a specific date like Monday. Genuine changes are usually rolled out gradually, communicated directly by the bank to account holders, and confirmed through official banking channels, not through a viral post with no named source. Think about how an actual policy change typically reaches you. It comes as a letter or a message from your own bank, specific to your account, sometimes with a notice period of weeks or months. It doesn't appear first as a screenshot shared thousands of times with no institution named. That distinction matters more than almost anything else in this conversation. But here's what most Australians don't realize. The version of a story that spreads fastest online is rarely the most accurate one. It's the version with the scariest headline. Every pensioner must know this before Monday is designed to create urgency. And urgency makes people share first and verify later. The uncomfortable truth is that a lot of content built around pension news is created purely to generate clicks, not to inform. That doesn't mean every cash access story is false. Some real updates are genuinely worth knowing. It means the loudest version of the story deserves the least trust until you've checked it yourself. So how do you check it? This is where things get genuinely useful. Whenever you see a claim about a banking or ATM change, go directly to your own bank's official website or call them using the number on the back of your card. Never a number from the post itself. If the change is real, your bank will confirm it and explain exactly how it applies to your account. If it's not something they recognize, that tells you everything you need to know. The next part is where most people get caught out. It's not the fake claims themselves that cause the real damage. It's the decisions people make in response to them. Rushing to withdraw large amounts of cash just in case can create its own problems. Carrying more cash than usual increases the risk of loss or theft. Some withdrawals above a certain size may prompt your bank to ask routine questions, simply as part of standard account security. Not because anything is wrong, but because large, unusual transactions are flagged as a matter of course. None of that is a reason to panic. It's simply worth knowing so an ordinary security check doesn't feel alarming if it happens. Now, let's talk about what genuinely is worth paying attention to, separate from the noise. Cash access across Australia has been quietly evolving for a few years now. Some physical bank branches have closed in certain areas, particularly regional ones, which can affect how easily some pensioners access in-person banking. Certain ATM operators have adjusted fees for out-of-network withdrawals, meaning using a machine that isn't linked to your own bank can sometimes cost more than using one that is. And some financial institutions have reviewed daily withdrawal limits as part of routine security measures, particularly for older or less frequently used cards. These are the kinds of changes that are real, gradual, and worth knowing, not because they're catastrophic, but because a small adjustment to your habits can save you money or hassle. It's worth pausing here, because this is exactly where confusion tends to creep in. A genuine gradual fee adjustment at one bank gets picked up, exaggerated, and reframed as a sweeping national rule affecting every pensioner. By the time it's been shared 100 times, the original modest update is unrecognizable. Somewhere in that chain, someone added a deadline that never existed, and somewhere else, someone added a dollar figure that was never announced. That's how a small, sensible update turns into a headline that feels like an emergency. This is also why it helps to understand who benefits from that transformation. Content that creates fear tends to spread faster and get watched longer than content that simply informs. That doesn't mean every warning is manufactured. Some genuinely are trying to help. But it does mean the incentive to dramatize exists, and being aware of that incentive is itself a form of protection. Here's the concept that ties all of this together, and it's the most valuable thing in this entire video. Reliable information about your money always traces back to a specific, named source: your bank, a government department, or an official regulator. If a claim can't be traced back to one of those, treat it as unverified, no matter how many times you've seen it shared. This single habit protects you from almost every piece of financial misinformation you'll ever come across. Not just this one. Let's walk through what this looks like in two different households. Picture a retiree who sees the before Monday claim shared by a family member. Instead of reacting immediately, they open their banking app and check their own account notices. Nothing unusual is listed. They call their bank's official number to ask directly, and are told there's no such nationwide change, though the representative does mention a minor, routine update to out-of-network ATM fees that had already been sent by letter weeks earlier. The retiree finishes the call reassured, informed, and completely unaffected by the panic spreading online. Now picture a different retiree who sees the same post and reacts immediately, withdrawing a large amount of cash the same afternoon just to be safe. They don't check with their bank first. The cash sits at home for weeks, unused, simply because the urgency felt real in the moment. Nothing was actually wrong with their account. The only real consequence was unnecessary stress and cash sitting outside a secure account for no reason. Same claim, same starting point, but a completely different outcome, based entirely on whether the story was verified before acting on it. There's a quieter cost in that second scenario too, one that's easy to overlook. Once someone reacts strongly to a false claim, they often keep watching for the next one, and the one after that. A pattern builds where every piece of financial news feels like a potential threat, simply because the first reaction wasn't checked and corrected early. That ongoing unease is, in its own way, more damaging than any single false post, because it changes how someone relates to their own money, long after the original claim has been forgotten. So here's what you should actually do the next time something like this crosses your feed. First, pause before reacting. Urgency is often the biggest clue that something is designed to spread rather than inform. Second, go straight to your own bank's official website or app, or call the number on your card rather than trusting a number or link shared in the post itself. Third, if a change is real, your bank will be able to explain it clearly and tell you exactly how it affects your specific account if they can't confirm it. That's your answer. And fourth, if you're ever unsure, ask a trusted family member or a financial counselor to help you check, rather than making a big decision, like withdrawing large sums of cash based on a headline alone. There's a fifth habit worth building too, and it costs nothing but a few minutes. Whenever you do receive a genuine notice from your bank, whether it's by letter, app notification, or email, read it in full before setting it aside. Real notices usually explain exactly what's changing, when it takes effect, and how it applies to your account specifically. If a message you're reading doesn't mention your bank by name, doesn't come through your usual banking channel, or pressures you to act within hours, treat that as a signal to slow down rather than speed up. It's also worth having a simple family plan in place. If someone close to you tends to share these posts with concern, agree in advance that the first step is always a call to the bank together, not an immediate withdrawal or a rush trip to the ATM. That one shared habit can prevent a lot of unnecessary stress for everyone involved, and it turns a moment of panic into a 5-minute phone call instead. None of this means ignoring genuine updates. Cash access rules do change, banks do review their fee structures, and staying informed is worth your time. It simply means directing that attention toward verified, official sources rather than whichever version of the story moves fastest online. Here's the core of it. The scariest headline is rarely the most accurate one, and real banking changes always come with a name attached. Your bank, not a screenshot. Pause before you share. Verify before you act. Trust your bank's own confirmation over anything else you see online. Do that, and no viral claim about Monday will ever catch you off guard again. If this helped you feel more confident about spotting real changes from noise, consider subscribing so you're never caught off guard by the next viral claim. And if you've come across a similar post recently, share it in the comments. It might help someone else pause before reacting.